Good morning, and welcome to Middle Earth Readings. Today is Monday the 13th of February 2023. My name is Maggie Rose Cunningham and I am your host, and we are looking at drawing spirit guidance from the runes, and we are going to be doing that personally for some of you who are live, and we are also going to be doing that by looking at the movements of the planets through the runic wheel, which tells us more about the energies that are available to us, the way that our weird is flowing. Now, I'm getting a little warning up saying that there's something wrong with the camera, so I hope that you can all see me fine. All seems to be fine. But yeah, do let me know if you're having any problems there with seeing me or receiving me. That'd be really helpful. Hi Karen, lovely to see you. I can see that Karen has already shared her rune per throw. So let's get into our theme. Our theme for this week. Now, last week we were talking about partnership and leadership, and this week continues that. This is part of this process of, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, birthing into the year. Sowing new seeds, energetic seeds really, even more than physical seeds. I know that we're not quite there with sowing seeds for gardening. We still might have a few more snap frosts. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, there's still this partnership and this leadership theme will still come through, but you might think about it in the context of harvesting, of what you need to harvest in terms of celebrating partnerships, releasing some as well. That's coming through as a theme too. So I'm going to be focusing on the Northern Hemisphere, but you can nuance it for the Southern as well. Shara is saying that my camera looks fine. That is good. It's just always, when Facebook comes up and with this little red warning message, you pay attention, don't you? So when we think about partnership, the question that I'm going to ask you to feel into, and whatever your rune is, you can start to feel into this context, is what do you want from your life partnerships? And I want you to think about this in the broadest possible context. So you could think about it in terms of the relationship with your body, with your mind, with your spirit guides, with your emotions. That for those of you who receive strong emotions, what does that partnership offer to us from our lovers? I am aware that it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. From the books that you read, from your workplace, all of these things. I've been thinking about it in the context of my space today. I've done a little bit of reorganisation of my space this morning. It just didn't feel, it was still in an old energy. I was like, now is the time to be saying, no, we've finished with the old year. So if there's anything that you're feeling like I'm not being supported by this partnership, or a shift is needed, now is the time to be looking at it. So have a little look at your rune and think about it in that context. Now, I'm aware that we can have blocks to leaning in to partnership, and they can be because of what we've been told about what that partnership might need to look like. So it could be, the types of books that you should read. This is a trashy novel, and therefore that's not a proper partnership. I should be reading something that's edifying. Is that true, or is it something that you've been told? What does it mean to have a lover? What do you want from that? And is that something that you've been conditioned into, these expectations? So what expectations might have been programmed into you? If we're coaches and things, we talk about conditioning, but that might not actually be true for you. It might be that when you're a bit frightened of thinking about that, like my partnership with my body, what would I like that to be? And I know that I spent years when for some of you will know, I had very severe arthritis when I was a young woman, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to walk again, and so I gave up on a lot of the partnership of what I'd expected with my body. And then I got better, which was great, lots of healing, etc., etc., etc. But I realised years on that I was still limiting my understanding of what my body could offer to me, what I could do based on that experience. But equally, there are times when, there are things that I can't do You know, running is quite difficult now, and my foot collapses and it's deeply painful, and so sometimes we can feel that sense of that there's a fear of reaching too far, of reaching for too much. And so again, it's about saying, well, what if I let that fear go? What becomes possible for me then? It might not be exactly what I had envisaged, you know. To be honest, I never had envisaged myself running a marathon, so I think I was quite lucky on that. But you know, I'd envisaged, for example, that I would play the piano for the rest of my life, and I don't do that. You know, I've got some fused bones in my hands, so I don't do that anymore. And there was some work that I needed to do to release that and say, well, what I don't want to do is to be saying my body is limited, but rather to say, well, what else is available? What else is available? So it's that. It's looking at where am I holding myself back because I'm afraid, you know, that I won't be able to get it. You know, so feeling into those. It could be about guilt or self-worth. You know, our society is very much, and this is one of the reasons we do the symbol, right? The where we boast in the Northern tradition, is to get over those taboos around worthiness and what we are, how valuable we are. So feel into those as well. Is there anything in terms of my belief about what I deserve or what's fair? That comes up quite a lot too. Well, why should we, when there is, you know, a horrific earthquake and all the ramifications taking place in Syria and Turkey right now, what right do I have to ask for anything? Because I should be feeling gratitude right now. And there's a real, you know, that's a place to stand that is reasonable. You know, I'm grateful right now for everything that I've got. You know, my family are safe. Other people's families are not safe right now. But equally, if we want to be able to fulfill our purpose in the world and we want to be able to do something about that, what would you need? If I had, you know, £1 million right now that I could go out and I could offer that would be great, wouldn't it? And it would be like a question of, okay, well, I don't have that right now, but what might my life need? What might I need in order to generate the power, whether that's monetary power or some other form of power, to make a difference in the world? So we can think about that in terms of that. What becomes possible for me if I release that guilt or that self-worth? And also the question about what you might need to give up, you know, in order to have the thing that you actually want. That can be a bit tricky too. So we're thinking about partnership in those terms and just allowing yourself to feel into that and looking at your rune and what it means and thinking about what it offers to you in that context. Now, I have been doing some review around this, around partnership, because I've been doing a review on what my partnership with you is all about, bearing in mind that my purpose, you know, the purpose that I have set for myself in the world is to support others in accessing the spirit guidance of the runes, you know, and the Northern tradition more widely, and their spiritual selves more widely. But the runes are a huge part of that for me. And so I've been doing some journaling and some feeling into what Middle Earth Readings needs to evolve into as its next stage. And so one of the things that I'm going to be asking you is for a little bit of feedback, not in this live. I'm going to post it in the Facebook group and underneath on the YouTube channel as well, to get your input into what our partnership should be and what is valuable for you. So with that, let's look at the planetary movement. So I aware, I just wanted to touch on it, and I'm going to put a little bit more on the blog about this, that it is Valentine's Day tomorrow, and one of the things that I always found intriguing is that the god Vali, we are in his house at the moment. We're going to transition at the end of this week out of Vali's house into Noaton, into Njord's Hall, but at the moment we're in Valaskjalf. And there is sometimes people say, oh, there's a connection between Valentine and Vali. I haven't found it, I'm going to say, you know, in all honesty, I haven't found it. I want it to be there, but I haven't found it. But he does. I've been thinking about partnership in his context, and he's actually born from a desire for partnership, because Odin wants to basically take vengeance for the death of his son, and he can't. He is bound by societal requirements. That means that he can't take vengeance on the person who killed his son, because it was also his son. And so his solution is to have another son whose life purpose it is to avenge the son who's been murdered. It's all very complex. But he is born into partnership. And he invites us into thinking about that, into thinking about conditioning and what the expectations were that were set upon us for who we would become, and that there are partnerships that we are not even aware of when we're tiny, tiny babies that are, that our parents have for us. So he wanted to bring that little piece in. Now, on the 14th, tomorrow, we are moving into Frigg's chariot is moving into Bacano, so it's a real celebration of the divine feminine. And she's also inviting us. There is this sort of strong sense of support that comes through with the runes that we are working on at this moment, and the channeled offering that Frigg gave to me when I felt into this combination, where she says, you may walk in shadow, but you never walk alone. And this is important sometimes, I think, when we feel as if maybe the partnerships that I want are not always there. And this brings us back to this deep partnership with our spirit guides. But what Frigg is also talking about is the connection that we have with the earth, that we are all creatures of the earth. And the Bacano rune offers that. There is hope that comes through the rebirthing of the spring with Bacano comes through. Frigg's chariot, which is Venus, is ahead of the sun and Mercury, Odin's chariot at the moment. So she is drawing these energies. She's like the trailblazer, bringing the Bacano energy out, which will get stronger as Odin's chariot moves towards it, and as soon as chariot moves into Bacano as well. So she is drawing in this power of the divine feminine to nurture and support us. So if that's something that you need, if you feel like, yes, that's what I need, or if your rune is Bacano, you'll be wanting to look at that. And then on the 18th, is it the 18th? Bear with me, I think it might be the 16th. I just don't want to get you wrong with the dates. On the 16th, so 2 days later, Odin's chariot will move into Algiz. And again, this is another rune that is very much about support, about reaching for support. Odin talks about the hand of support, the unexpected hand of support. So when we do this work around visualizing, journaling, writing down what it is that we want from life partnerships, we are you could say, I'm placing my order out to the universe. So you're giving voice to that, you're giving utterance to that, and you're inviting that partnership in. So Odin says from the 16th, he says, look out for that hand of partnership once you've called for it. So this is one of the reasons why I encourage an active partnership with your runes, or the runes that you have selected. What is your rune offering to you? What is it offering in terms of partnership? And then at the end of the week, on the 18th, we are going to move into Njord's hall. So his hall is called Noatan. Njord is a god of the liminal space between the land and the water. He's a god of the harbour. He's a god of fertility and abundance and riches, that place of blessing. I was reading an Instagram this morning and they didn't cite it, so otherwise I'd give you the citation. I think it's Celtic, I wanted to say legend, but I don't know. And if anybody knows where this comes from, please let me know, because I was fascinated by it. And they were saying that the space between the sand and the water, where the seaweed is found, that sort of living space, is a place of blessing, where if you want to free yourselves from curses, then you move into that space and it releases you. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And that just felt powerful and potent to me. So I thought I'd offer it to you. They just didn't cite it, so I wasn't able to say this is where this comes from, where in myth and legend this comes from. So those are the three movements that we have. So they are all offering forms of partnership. Well, actually, I should say with Njord's Hall, he offers a really interesting perspective on partnership. So for those of you who are members of the Half Space, this is a great time to be going and listening to the story of Njord and Ul and Skadi and their take on partnership, because this is one of the stories and the months that we did where two deities came forward. Well, actually Skadi came forward as well, but it was Ul and Njord. So Njord is Skadi's husband and Ul is Skadi's lover. And what they were doing is they were talking about their partnership, the partnership that Ul and Njord have together, which was very interesting indeed. So we had our story session, we had our meditation embodiment, we had our rune reading. So if you're feeling like, I really want to deepen into the energy of Njord's Hall as it opens to us on the 18th, then look in your Half Space resources. This is for people who are members of the Inner Circle. It is not expensive to join the Inner Circle if you're not a member. You can take up a month's membership and offer this month to Nord, then you can do so. So he has some really interesting perspectives on partnership and on unconventional partnership, which I've been talking through a little bit for you today. So lots of ways in which we can be working with partnership. So let's have a look at your runes for the week ahead, bearing in mind what I have said about you feeling into your rune and what it is offering you in this context. And that is one of the things that I know in terms of the evolution of Middle Earth readings that I'm going to be supporting more of, is supporting you in building your relationship with your rune as a spirit guide. So Karen, you have Perthrow, so this is bringing out for me that unexpected quality that we were talking about, looking for the unexpected, opening to the unexpected, really letting go and going with the flow on this one, allowing the spirit of play to come through in terms of your feelings about partnership. Candice, you have Wunyo reversed. Thank you also for your reassurance that my camera is working fine. What I'm not doing is showing the runes. Dun, dun, dun. So while I'm looking for Candice's rune, I should also say this morning one of the tasks that I was working on was recording the video that Jean requested around murk staves and bright staves. So that will be coming to you very soon. So Candice is talking about, here is Wunyo, and this is Wunyo reversed here. So it's sort of its reversed meaning. So this is really for me about, I'm feeling a little bit of, not past life necessary, but certainly memory that is holding back you feeling the joy of partnership and belonging, and the ecstasy that can offer. There's sort of a distrust going on there with the Wunyo rune. There's a little bit of I want to say head in the sand. That doesn't sort of feel quite right, because I know that you're a deeply self-aware person, but that's what it's suggesting. It's this sort of yes, I'm interested in that, but not that bit. There's like a blinkeredness happening there, deliberately so, a protective aspect is what I'm feeling. And the Wunyo rune is sort of saying, again, question that. You might be ready to open up just that little bit more and to let more of that Wunyo energy come through. And it's more about the act of the opening. It's less about, and then the partner of your dreams will arrive on the sunset. It's less that. It's more, while there is this sense of holding the energy in and contained and buried in the earth, it's a bit constraining is the sense that I'm getting. So opening to the Wunyo energy as a childlike aspect here, which I think is the reclamation of the trust of the child, who's like, yeah, you'll be my friend, that'd be great, you know, we can do loads of fun stuff together, it'd be fantastic. So yeah, the Wunyo is offering that to you. Carolyn, you've got Iwaz for the week, so let me just find the Iwaz rune. Dun, dun, dun. So the Iwaz rune is the rune of defense. It's the rune of strength. There we go, the Iwaz rune. It's the rune of the yew tree. So there's this eternal quality to it, this longevity to it. And I would think that for you, in the context of partnership, it is about celebrating partnerships that have lasted the course and looking at what they have offered to you. And there's something there about this stability that provides like a defense, a container, that's the word I'm looking for what's currently boiling. So it's like the life force and the energy isn't in the old partnerships, but the framework that they have created holds and invites the birthing of the new within it. So it's a slightly different perspective on partnership. It's not saying, oh, go back and try and reignite old partnerships or rely on those to be the fuel for your fire at the moment, but recognize that what they can help you to do is to contain the energies that are coming through, and that you can lean into them. And that possibly they're not expecting you to put a huge amount of effort in there to keep them going, because that's not the point. They are there and they're stable already. Meggie, you have got Bacano, on its back. Very true. She says with the tummy and the boobies up, which I will explain to you when we see it there. So this is like one of the rune postures that you can do with the Bacana is you can lie on your back, put your arms like this, and then raise your knees up, and you can make the Bacano rune. But it's also said to be like a pregnant woman here with a pregnant tummy and full breasts there as well. So lying back, it is that receiving energy. That's what I'm feeling, that sort of resplendent Empress energy. And if you were to look at the tarot cards, it would very much be in that Empress energy of claiming your space, delicious energy of self-care and nurture and deservingness, and definitely have a lovely delicious essential oils bath if you can. There is a relaxing, a real relaxing and deepening into what is birthing, and that fecundity. It's that embodiment of that fecundity that the Bacano rune offers there, Maggie. And that was a really good example there of you sort of gave me a little bit of your own interpretation there of how she was speaking to you, which is really helpful. And that's sort of what I'm thinking about quite a lot more in terms of our partnership. So thank you very much. Cher, you have got Yera. So we've had Bacano, which is like the spring energy as well. It can be the maiden, it can be the mother, sometimes it can be the crone as well. The Yera energy is the cycle of the year. Yera literally means year. That's where the word year comes from. And it is the only rune that has two separate and distinct parts. They are eternally cycling around each other. Here we go. Here's our Yarrow rune here. And I'm really feeling the breath here, Cher, with this sort of movement of the breath, the slow in and out, the steadiness, the not allowing yourself to be rushed. That's what's coming through really strongly. Don't allow yourself to be rushed. There's something there about when partners who of all kinds, all the different partnerships that you can have access to, need to honor your nature as well. It's not just about you saying, oh, well, what did they need? What sort of person are they? And all of that sort of stuff. It's recognizing that partnership is in two parts, and that partnerships where both parties are the same can be nice in terms of the relationship because they affirm each other. Oh, that's nice, we agree, that's lovely. But the more productive partnerships are where the two partners offer very different energies, like the winter and the summer here, circling around each other. And they do require respect for the different energies that the two partners offer. And you can think about that in terms of the body and the mind, for example. My body and mind, bless them. My mind is continually like all the time, and it never stops ever. And my body's like, really? No. It's almost, I feel as if my body has decided to be like a counterweight to my mind in some way. And it's working on that partnership together so that they can fully embody their natures without pulling each other apart, is what I feel. So you want to be looking into that. So think about your partnerships in that context and what they offer you in terms of difference. It's one of my business values is collective wisdom. The collective wisdom of partnership. We're all here. Let's share our wisdom. That the answers are found in the spaces between us, rather than in the head of like one individual person. But if we need to tend to those spaces, we have to look after them. We have to respect ourselves and the difference. And sometimes say, no idea what you're saying. I don't get it because I'm not in your head. You're not in mine. Let's find a way to bridge this gap without always having to understand everything about the other person, because we're different, aren't we? We're different. So what does the partnership need to work, rather than for us to be in control of every aspect of it? Esther, you have got Algiz for the week. Here we go. There's the Algiz rune. Upwards, la la la. It's one of your runes, isn't it? I'm feeling, this is a strong spirit guide for you already, Esther. So what can we add to your relationship with the Algiz rune at this point? I'm feeling into the planetary movements here. And friggin' Bacano is calling a little bit. She's sort of whispering there. It's almost a flow, knowing how to flow in partnership, and when to raise your arms up and when to come in still, when to receive and when to not even give, when to integrate. That's what I'm feeling. I think that maybe with the Alga's rune, if it was going to move, it would do this thing, or it would like be having the arms up, and then it would bring its hands in, it would bring them into the heart, and it would breathe, and it would integrate, and it would do that sort of delicious evolution of the soul inside, and then it would open up once more. It's that act of receiving that I'm feeling, and I think that that's what is being offered, Esther, for you, is this sense of, as much as we give, we need to pay as much attention to what we give as we need to pay as much attention to what we receive and how we receive it as we do to what we give. You know, our society teaches us to pay attention to what we are giving, how we are performing, rather than what we are receiving. And I think that's what the Alga's rune is asking. It's saying, yeah, bring that attention, that sense of your heart expanding and opening up there. Then Lisa, you have Kinas. Here we go. Kinas is the rune of the torch. It's the rune of enlightenment. It can also be the rune of creativity. It's that transformation of force and form into something different. So here we've got the Kinas rune. So it can be seen like a little eye, an open eye, or the torch, you know, like the holding the flame inside it. And it's got the K, so that can be like cunning, or the word knowledge comes from that as well. Cleverness, and all of these things beginning with a K all come from that. There is this real knowing. And when we think about partnership here, to me, it feels, it's quite a cool, clear energy. Often with the Kinas rune, when I feel into it, it feels like down in the tummy, down in the belly. It's like that manifesting energy. But I'm feeling it for you, Lisa, up in the tongue and the throat. It's coming through quite strongly there. It's almost this sense of some things that have become stuck in the throat and the tongue and want to be expressed. And the Kinas rune is offering itself as a partner to help with that expression. Like literally, as I'm speaking, I can feel these sort of runes inscribing themselves on the throat and on the tongue and on the hands as well. Like they want to come out, they want to be expressed. So it's almost saying that I know that you are, you know, such a fabulous, gifted. If you've ever heard Lisa's wild voice, her like poetic voice, you know, it's just fabulous. And it's almost saying that energetically that work needs to happen, and it needs to be expressed like down on paper in some way. And that it's not so much the capture, that's not the important bit. The important bit is the expression, allowing it out of your body, is what's coming through. So it's quite an energetic partnership that it's offering you this time. Pamela, you have got Algas as well, so I'm going to refer you to what I discussed with Esther. There, that feels good, that feels right. Suzanne, you have Thurisaz Murkstave. Ooh, let me feel down into that. So I don't know whether that is pointing face downwards or whether it is it's just pointing backwards. Here we have the Thurisaz runes. This is the rune of the thorn, the rune of the giants, the Thorsar. It's a rune of power and potency. And people can be a bit ooh about the Thurisaz rune because it's raw, and we are taught to wear our masks, aren't we, in society, you know, our polite masks, and Thurisaz does not wear a polite mask. I'm going to hold the rune this way and so just feeling into its more Murkstave attributes here for you there, Suzanne. You know what, it's bizarre. It doesn't feel like bad, it doesn't feel icky to me as we do that. It feels like a natural process. And what I was looking for was the point of the Thurisaz rune, because sometimes we can sort of feel energetically, or this pricking point somewhere, but I'm not feeling that either. I'm also almost feeling like this is like the Hrimthorsar, who are the rime giants. They are frost giants, so they're very ancient powers that are coming through here, and it's almost this very slow reawakening of these old ancient energies that is just going to take its time. Yeah, I would connect that maybe in with the Easter rune as well, Suzanne, for you. It's not that fiery Thurisaz energy. It's a cold, slow moving Thurisaz energy of something ancient rising up from the deeps. And it's almost just breathing into it is what I'm feeling there. Letting it come, and then you'll understand what it is. So like if you think about the Hrimvorsar as being they're very good at camouflage. Incredibly difficult to tell the difference between the ice landscape and the Hrimthursar, who are living on it and in it and underneath it. So it's just sort of waiting for that to come into the light. Erica has Yera. So we've done Yera already. Oh, with those sort of two wings and the partnership and the difference, celebrating difference. That feels good to me. So I'm going to stick with that one for you, Erica. Carol has Iwas as well, so let me just feel if there's anything else from Iwas. We've talked about that defensiveness and that container energy. I think for me, Carol, the only other thing is feeling into the Iwas energy as being like a staff. It's often the defensiveness, the staff comes through. I know for Carolyn, I was talking about it as being like a container for her, this sort of fire's container energy. But for you, I'm feeling the staff more. It's almost like when you go out into the world, I would ask the Iwas to accompany you. It's that protecting your space energy. So you could do a little bit of work with the Iwas rune. You might carry it with you. And see where it takes you through the course of this week, but it's come forward as a protector there. Then Elaine, you have Wunyo. So we've had Wunyo reverse. Let's just feel I'm feeling it's very sparkly, very glittery. It's excitable energy of the Wunyo rune here with Elaine's Wunyo. There we go. We've got Wunyo again. It's feeling quite a gentle energy. It's not like this ecstatic, it must be out of me in full ecstasy. It's that gentle little hobbies, things that you enjoy, things like smelling essential oils, if you like doing any sort of fabric arts, like knitting, crochet, anything like that. It's that real opening to pleasure is what I'm sensing from that. And recognizing that our hobbies are also part of our life partnerships. I think that's what it's calling it. It's to say we can think about hobbies as being like pastimes or distractions, but they're not, are they? They are partners in their own right. They are where we explore facets of our own being and where we extend our edges out, our hobbies, these places of play, there's our natural places of play. So it's a celebration of those. Ren, you have Perthrow. I think we have had Perthrow already, but it's chatting. Let's sort of see what it has to say. With our Perthrow rune. Yeah, we did. We had it with Karen, didn't we? So with the Perthrow rune as a partner, it's almost, I think that for you, Ren, it is, yes, go with that Perthrow energy, listen to what I said to Karen, but also it's embracing your own seership ability. That's what's coming through there. And it's saying that it's deepening into that, deepening into your trust of yourself, your relationship with yourself and your own knowing and your own intuition. That's what's coming through there. Sunita, we have Kinas, so we have done Kinas. I'm just going to feel into that because I know that was quite specific for Lisa, wasn't it? We did a little bit of a deep dive there for Lisa. So the Kinas energy for you that I'm picking up on, Sunita, is more that real sense of what does your creativity offer you? What does your, maybe if you've got that thirst for knowledge, that thirst for understanding, it's seeing that as being something that, yes, those things can be innate qualities and traits within ourselves, but when we see them as partners to work with and to embrace, they can offer us so much more too. And it's just looking at what could you do to offer your partner, your creativity, some lovely gifts. So it could be, what books do you want to read? If you don't have a book list, get a book list going. What would you like to do this year in terms of like pottery work or just any form of creativity with their hands? It's nurturing that partnership with your creative self is I think what's being offered. And it's saying actually being creative about how you can nurture that creative partnership is what's being suggested through through the course of this week and through this time when we're opening to partnership. And then yes, you don't have to do the things right now, but open to what's possible. Troy has also got Wunyo, but you've got Wunyo Merc stave, so I'm going to put you back to what I said to Candice. That's still feeling good. It's still feeling, yeah, listen to that same thing with Candice, that sense of where do we hold ourselves back? Because that I think that I can't imagine anyone saying I didn't experience at some point in my like school life or my childhood life a point at which I felt excluded or betrayed, you know, that my trust, that somebody who I thought was a partner actually wasn't. And it's offering that invitation into that to say, you know, as an adult, go back and have a chat with your child self who experienced that, and say, you know, they might not have been the best partner for you, but I am. You know, it's that work that needs to be done, I think, with the Wunyo in there. Ardina, you've got Bacano. Let's just feel into whether there's anything additional for you. And then Maggie did a really nice feeling into, she really helped and supported with that. Where does the Bacano energy want to go for you? I'm just feeling that sense of new beginnings for you, Ardina. So it is that still that deliciousness. What does your soul yearning for? What do you want in the world? Opening to that. What could you do that would invite that in? What new things could you offer? I say, you know, a lot of my coaching clients, we do work on creating like dates with yourself, where you try something new, try something different, try something that you used to do as a child. I'm going to share with you here. So this is one of the things that it's one of the dates I did with myself. So you might not know what this is. This is like when the rubber band comes off there, it's one of those ribbons, one of those gymnastic ribbons. And I got this was my first like date with myself that I did. So I keep it in the room to remind myself of how important these things are. And I used to love doing rhythmic gymnastics when I was a little girl. This was one of my reclamations of my relationship with my body, was to buy myself a new ribbon. And I played some music, and I leapt around my front room, and I swizzled my ribbon, and it was amazing. And I spent 30 minutes just in joy, true joy. And it's activities like that, things that bring us back into youthful excitement and trying something different that we've not done before. And it doesn't matter if you don't really enjoy it, because you've learned something about yourself, haven't you? So it's opening up to those. I'm feeling that combination of the Wunyo and the Bacano there for you, Adina. Darren has Hagalaz for the week. Thank you, Esther. We put the Hagalaz rune. Hagalaz rune is the rune of the storms, the rune of the hail storms. It's not the most pleasurable of storms. It's one of those storms that you sort of want to stay out of if you can. Now, there we go with the Hagalaz rune. And because of that, people can be nervous of the hailstorm. But it is that storm that clears away the old, lets it all out. And it sets us up with a much deeper, much more resonant understanding of what we require in our lives. You know, if your crops are just being smashed to bits by the Hagalaz rune, then it is very, very clear what you need. Namely, you need somebody whose crops haven't been just destroyed by a storm to offer you support and help in that moment in time, so that you have food. It brings that real clarity and that resetting when we've gone off path a little bit, you know, when we think, oh, that's not right for me anymore. So again, if you think about partnering with the storm, it is both about reaching into that storm energy and saying, what are the uncomfortable, difficult, challenging moments teaching me? What are they telling me about what I need and what I don't like in this situation? But also, when do I need to be the storm, you know, in order to partner better with the universe, to shake it up a little bit? So that's what the Hagalaz rune is offering to you. Lauren says, I'm sorry I'm late. That's absolutely fine, Lauren. I am doing well, thank you. You got Hagalaz as well. I think it's your rune for the year. Marvellous. So I've just done that for Darren. Yep, Hagalaz is quite happy with that at the moment. It is just that really claiming through this time, as it's your rune for the year, it's really claiming your Hagalaz rune as your partner for the year, as your spirit guide for the year, and looking at ways in which you can receive its energy. What are the ways in which I can receive that energy of the storm? just make a little resolution to yourself. If a storm comes, and it's safe to do so, I'm going out in it. It's those types of things, like setting those intentions for yourself. What are the areas in my life that could use a little bit of storm energy right now, that could use a little bit of shake-up? So where would I like that Hagalaz rune to manifest in my life? It's those types of things. Chen, you've got Iwaz this week. So we've had Iwaz a couple of times now, so I don't think there's going to be much more to add to that. I would feel into what I was saying about its boundaries. It's holding those boundaries, protection, defense. Imagine carrying that with you when you go out, when you invite others into your home, and that can be literally, or it can be on Zoom or a chat. It's that as well. It's saying, ask the Iwaz rune to hold those boundaries for you, to preserve your energy and keep it, is what I'm feeling there. That's how it's offering itself as a partner to you. Sally has Ingus. Here we go. Hagalaz is often known as a seed rune, as is Ingus, which is why I'm veering that way. I'm meandering towards Ingus via Hagalaz. So Hagalaz is it's known as like the crystalline seed, that the hail seed that literally holds the promise of new life within it, even though we can find it quite difficult to feel that at the time, because it's a big initiator rune. It comes at a time when we might not feel it, but we are ready for a change. Whereas the Ingus rune is also a seed, but it's the seed of, it can be the seed of the sacrifice, the seed of the sacred, of that which we are willing to sacrifice for. It's a more mindful, measured, decided sacrifice. You might see it as being when the harvest has come, we decide that we are going to offer some seeds as thanks. We are going to eat some, and we're going to plant some, because if we don't, we won't have another crop for the future. So it's that type of a more measured relationship about what energy do we need to conserve, what do we need to give away, and what do we need to receive for ourselves. So with Ingus as a partner, it is really inviting that mindfulness for you, Sally Ann, about what you want to give your energy to, where you are receiving energy from, and where you want to conserve energy. Marvellous. Okay, so Candice says, wow, that's uncanny right now. Definitely been feeling myself resist opening up. Okay, good. I am glad. Well, I'm really hopeful for you then that Wunyo is going to help you with that journey. Maggie says, I'm definitely going to be doing self-care and treating myself. Happy Valentine's Day to me. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Yeah. Carolyn says, thank you. Interesting topic for the week. So now building a team again. Wonderful. So yeah, that very interesting that came up for you that way then, Carolyn. Esther says, thank you. I did a big ritual for Thursday to Sunday last week with my birth runes, and Algos was a big feature. So yeah, lots of information. So yeah, opening and receiving. Pamela says, I have had relationship challenging questions. Algos is asking. Open to receive and open up. Yeah. So that allowing yourself to be guided by outside as well as perhaps in the partnership as well. Pamela, thank you. Flora says you have Hagalaz. So we have done Hagalaz, Flora. We've done that. We've done that a couple of times. So have a listen in to what we've done for Hagalaz. And there we have it. That is Middle Earth readings for this week. So I'm hoping and for lovely blessings of partnership and of that real deepening into the partnership with the runes that you have selected for this coming week. And I'm going to be posting a little request for your feedback as I start to evolve Middle Earth readings and where it's going. And yeah, so I would love to hear your feedback on that. And my plan is that we will be relaunching Middle Earth readings in its new magical evolved form after the new moon. So take care, everybody, and see you very soon.